So today we're just gonna be responding to some comments. Now, the very first one, I can't remember if it's one comment or two comments. Somebody said no chop and drop in the garden, and also why do you pull the weeds out instead of just cutting them off and leaving the roots? So we've been trimming the weeds, you can almost say, in the vegetable patch, but I think it's a wonderful idea to, rather than yanking them out in the vegetable garden, we'll start cutting them. Almost lost my balance here on the okay, so we have changed, because of your comment, we have changed our method. We will no longer be yanking weeds out, we will be trimming them back. The other thing, the reason why we don't do chop and drop in the vegetable garden is we feed these weeds to the pigs. We make compost, and for every bucket of weeds we bring back, take out, we bring back a bucket of compost. So that is our main idea. The next comment goes is regarding our prickly pears. It says your prickly pears are poorly cultivated. They should have been planted east to west, and the trimming is wrong, the way you trim them, and you've got the spacing wrong. So I was very intrigued by the idea of planting a thing east to west. I thought you probably meant the bottom leaf, but then I realized the blades on top will turn themselves however they want to be, in whichever direction. You see this one? Yeah, it's directly 90 degrees with that one there. So I realized that wasn't it. You meant the line should be directly east to west. In other words, this line here, let me just try and shade the lens quickly, should be directly east to west. And yeah, the reason why we didn't plant them directly east to west, and as you can see with my shadow, my shadow is east to west currently. Actually no, I'm lying, it's not. But it's close enough. This is close enough to east to west. But the reason why we did this is because we wanted to plant a hedge. That's also the reason for our spacing. We wanted to plant a hedge. The not trimmed properly. You can see this one is not trimmed at all. The main reason for not trimming them, well, trimming properly could mean a lot of different things. For me, it means leaves not touching like that. For you it might mean something else. It might be worth explaining what you mean by trimming properly. But the reason is simply because I want to get a lot of leaves and I want to make a lot of extra trees. So I let whatever wants to grow, I let it grow. So that's the main reason for that. Then you continue on saying that I should stop calling those beaver analog dams beaver analog dams. They are check dams. I use the language that the people I speak to uses. So if somebody in the comment, most people in the comments call them beaver analog dams, then I am going to call them a beaver analog dam, because that's the lingua franca, the language we all speak. And okay, so next. Yeah, so it is a checker dam to some extent. However, checker dams is a bit of a wider concept. It goes to stones and other things as well. You can make a checker dam with tires, you can make a checker dam, but you cannot make a beaver analog dam with either of those other things. Right, so that I think handles the beaver analog situation. I'll keep on calling them beaver analog dams because that is what my people call them. Then you continue to say, I've been listening to Shaun Overton. I've been listening to Shaun Overton, if I pronounce that name correctly. He is a quack. He doesn't listen to sound advice, and he's got in trouble with the government. And calling somebody a quack, I had to Google it, means that there's some sort of fraudulent activity happening. In other words, he's lying to the public in order to get money. So I don't think Shaun Overton is a quack. I also think insulting a whole person is a bit lazy. if you don't agree with him, and I mean people don't agree, I'm cool with that. I'm very happy when people judge me and judge the things I do, and I also judge people and judge the things they do. That's how we determine right from wrong. But calling a whole person a quack means that you should throw out the baby with the bathwater, that you should listen to none of the things that he says, or that is in general bad. And I don't agree with that at all in Shaun Overton's case. I think that he's not a quack, and I think it's lazy. I think it would be more productive to say, listen, this and this and this is what I don't agree with him, and these are the reasons why. It would have been a lot more productive to be more specific with the claims that you have against him. Now I just know that you don't like him, and possibly that you don't agree with anything at all that he says. But there might be some things that you agree with. It would have been much more helpful if you said, this and this and this I don't agree with, and here's the reasons why. He said he doesn't listen to sound advice, and he got into trouble with the government. Now, I get so many sound advice from different people, and I have to use my best judgment to understand which one is the best and apply it in my situation. So there is people that gives really good advice, and people on the other side giving good advice, and me as somebody that practices these things have to sort of take into account, listen, what is the sound advice here, which one will work best in my situation. So I think maybe just because he didn't listen to the advice that you gave, or that somebody that you admire gave, doesn't make him a bad person, and doesn't make him a bad judgment of good advice. I think he does take good advice, that's why he's practicing permaculture. So in all honesty, I think you've judged Shaun Overton too harshly, and I think you've judged him as a person wrong. And the other very nice thing that you said that triggered something in my mind is, sorry, I want to get the sun out of your eyes. Let me turn this around. Okay, so the other thing that you said that I really liked, or that really triggered something in me, is that instead of putting frost coverings over the trees, I should do what Seth Olser said, the Austrian guy that's also worth the watch, and put the trees between two Hugel mounds. Now, Hugel mound is like a whole heap of sticks, and then you put mud over it, or sand over it, soil over it, if I understand it correctly, and then you place the tree between that. Now, I wonder if putting the sticks under the trees or under the mud will not just feed the termites, but it's worth a while, worth the effort. If that can save a tree from cold, that might be worth the while. We plant trees next to walls on certain sides to do the same thing, basically put solar energy as a storage into the mound, and then raise it up. Now, I didn't see that video from Seth Olser, I went to go and look, so if you can post that link in the comment where he talks about putting the Hugel mounds with the tree in the middle, that would be fantastic, because there might be some details that I'm missing there. But thank you for that comment, I'm going to try that. You mentioned some things with the termites, but I'm not going to go into that, but in general, thank you for the comment. It triggered some ideas and thoughts and so on in my mind. Then we are busy now, yeah, because of a comment, we are busy here in the new pig pen, digging holes like these. I think it was oblique-tite. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but I have to go look for the comment. These holes are now a couple of days old. We've been digging them, and we are going to place old food and rotten food in there once we find a way. So just to tell you why the pig pen has stopped working, so you see this gap here in the concrete, in the fence. There's a friend of mine that said he'll show me how to lower that and add that into concrete without it rotting away. So I'm just waiting for those info so we can close it at the bottom in a good way that will serve long term. So if my idea was just to pull that down and put concrete around it, but he said that will make it rust right over there, and then you have to do the fence again. So I'm just waiting, pausing and getting more info on the best way on how to finish this thing. Okay, so let's get back to this. A couple of people said, or somebody then said below, this would be a wonderful experiment. So we're going to add rotten food in these holes and then have the pigs dig them out. So it's another wonderful comment. I really do appreciate it, and we are applying your comments. We are doing the things. So always please comment on our videos, because it's what is driving us. It is what helps me improve my permaculture journey. I don't take offense at all from anybody. Steve said, I'm so sorry if my comment sounded rude. I've got a skin this thick. I really don't care if you guys like me or not. I'm gonna do my best for the world, and if that's good enough, I'm sure that will be good enough. If you do your best, you're gonna be good enough. So be rude, be honest, be straightforward. If I think you are wrong, I'm gonna say that back to you, and if you want to take offense, that's cool. I think taking offense is probably one of the most useless human emotions there is, because it takes you away from seeing what the person is saying to you. I could have just as well taken offense from the previous comment, the one with Shaun Overton or whatever. I don't. In fact, it triggers things in me and say, listen, is this person right, and so on. So I'm not going to take offense, and you should neither, if I'm honest with you in return. And then the very last comment is one of my tribe members. So it's written in Afrikaans, asking me whether I ever thought of using sweet potatoes as a ground cover. And the answer is yes. I think sweet potatoes in this climate would work fantastically. So I'm making plans on how to get as many sweet potatoes into the ground as possible, as soon as possible. I think they will work fantastic in the heat, in the sun. Look how the wind is blowing today. And I think that they will work fantastically for us. So that is the end of my story. I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much for commenting. Have a wonderful day.